3 seconds to reach a speed of 112 kilometers per hour. Ground scorched by heat reaching 70 degrees Celsius. And a bite with 2 tons of crushing force lying in wait beneath the murky waters. Here, there is no such thing as a peaceful day. Every watering hole could be a ready-set trap. Every patch of tall grass conceals a lethal predator. And the slightest hesitation, even for a single breath, can cost you your life. Forget the dreamy postcards depicting a land of tranquility. You are stepping into a world where nature operates by ruthless laws that defy all human imagination. Welcome to Kenya. Viewed from a low-flying drone, the Mara River appears as a thick, brown, serpentine geological scar cleaving the savanna in two. The water does not flow gently but surges violently, forcing its way through narrow gaps between clay banks rising up to 10 meters high. The eroded riverbanks are fissured into fragile ridges of earth, liable to collapse entirely into the torrent under the mere weight of a single footstep. Harsh sunlight piercing the river mist creates a stifling, somber atmosphere. The true brutality lies in the fact that the riverbed conceals an army of ancient killers. Several Nile crocodiles, exceeding 5 meters in length, lie motionless like rotting logs beneath the murky water. Their bite force reaches 2 tons per square inch, enough to snap the femur of an adult zebra in a mere 1/10 of a second. The deceptively calm water at the river's tight bends is actually a death trap. Here, the raging current and the planet's most patient predators conspire to create a heart-stopping drama of survival. Venturing beyond the lens's frame reveals the Maasai Mara, the greatest and most ruthless survival battleground on Earth. Sweeping across sun-drenched grassland, this landscape operates not as a tranquil reserve, but as a colossal, ceaselessly moving biological machine. Millions of hooves belonging to wildebeests, zebras, and Thompson's gazelles pound the parched earth, driving a frenzied great migration that defies the limits of survival. Beneath the solitary acacia trees, apex predators from proud lion prides and stealthy leopards to lightning-fast cheetahs remain in a state of constant, high-stakes vigilance. In the Mara, The line between vibrant life and sudden death is incredibly fine. Every square meter of grassland is steeped in blood and the unyielding laws of nature. It is a wilderness so extraordinary it feels surreal, a place where nature displays its most primal power, leaving humans breathless in the face of its grandeur. Pitch black and unfathomably deep, the Nkongo Narok swamp lies nestled within a valley basin, fed by glacial meltwater flowing down from the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. A lush green carpet of aquatic vegetation blankets the water's surface, creating a soft, deceptive veil. Yet beneath it lurks a layer of thick, mineral-rich mud meters deep. Ancient, withered acacia trees stretch their bare branches skyward, casting reflections upon the clear water along the gentle slopes. The mud here possesses unique compressive properties capable of generating immense suction, strong enough to pin down a 5-ton elephant and render it completely immobile should it become trapped. The air here is perpetually heavy with thick moisture, condensing into tiny droplets on the fronds of papyrus plants. Herds of wild elephants often traverse these shallow waters, leaving behind deep footprints that turn into small water traps for smaller creatures. The landscape creates an ironic contrast between the lush green beauty above and the ecological trap below that swallows everything up. Musiara Marsh greets the midday sun with a labyrinth of eroded gullies carved deep into the iron-rich red earth. Earthen banks dot the valley, forming narrow, winding paths completely concealed by stands of tall, rank grass. The arrival of the dry season transforms what was once a wetland basin into a cracked expanse. Shrinking clay soils open up into thousands of deep fissures. The lack of visibility turns this area into the region's most complex and intricate terrain. A layer of fine, pinkish-orange dust coats the ground, rising with every step of antelope herds as they tentatively forage for scarce green shoots. As dusk falls, the shadows cast by the earthen ridges stretch endlessly, transforming the basin into a geometric mosaic of angular darkness. An undulating sandstone landscape stretches endlessly, where vegetation is reduced to patches of hardy, black, thorny scrub. Olara Orok is defined by bands of jet-black volcanic rock that absorb the sun's heat, causing the surrounding air to shimmer and waver like a realm of mirages. Dried-up streams leave behind only beds of smooth, white, water-worn pebbles that reflect the highlands' dazzling light. Rolling, dome-shaped hills create sudden shifts in elevation, concealing small valleys beneath limestone ridges. At midday, the black rock formations absorb heat exceeding 60 degrees Celsius, turning shallow hollows into heat traps that distort light and completely deceive the human eye. Amidst this barren terrain, colossal baobab trees thrust their roots deep into rocky fissures in search of groundwater. The landscape reveals itself with primal majesty, a place where the laws of survival are etched directly onto the fractured stone. It is a breathtaking sight to behold a lake bed shrouded in thick mist, with hundreds of underground springs sending up billowing clouds of steam. Lake Bogoria possesses a beauty that is both wondrous and eerie, featuring geysers that constantly erupt from the earth at temperatures of 94 degrees C. The water is highly alkaline, with a pH of 10, transforming the lake into a pool of intensely corrosive chemicals. The lake's surface reflects a shimmering turquoise hue, while billowing columns of steam distort the surrounding air. Although the water is caustic enough to burn any skin that touches it, it supports an ecosystem of alkaliphilic blue-green algae. Millions of flamingos gather here, forming a vibrant, shifting pink cloud against the backdrop of the boiling water. The interplay of geothermal heat and the vivid colors of the local wildlife creates a surreal landscape reminiscent of the surface of a distant planet. Nestled deep between the crumbling cliffs of the continental rift, the Sugata Valley emerges as a fiery basin, completely isolated from the outside world. It is one of the hottest and driest places on Earth, where midday ground temperatures frequently exceed 70 degrees Celsius. The valley floor is carpeted with red sand dunes, fields of glossy black lava, and earth cracked and warped by the heat. Superheated air, trapped between the Rocky Mountain ranges, creates constant optical illusions that make distant scenery blur and appear to melt. With humidity levels at zero, any droplet of water evaporates before it can even touch the ground. Dust devils form incessantly, sweeping across ancient lake beds that dried up thousands of years ago. The rugged terrain and relentless heat transform this place into a boundless geothermal desert. A vast, dazzling white salt pan stretches endlessly, completely blanketing the expansive lake bed in the southern Great Rift Valley. Lake Magadi is not a conventional body of water, but rather an alkaline mineral expanse covered in a solid crust of trona. As mineral-rich geothermal springs well up from beneath the earth, they rapidly evaporate in the scorching heat, leaving behind thick layers of crystallized mineral salts. In areas of intense evaporation, the lake bed cracks into a mosaic of hexagonal patterns, shades of pastel pink interspersed with the turquoise hues of alkaline channels. The surrounding air is heavy with stifling heat and the distinctive mineral scent rising from fissures in the ground. Viewed from afar, the salt expanse glitters in the sunlight, resembling a dazzling stretch of eternal snow set amidst the burning desert. A vast expanse of pitch-black volcanic rock stretches endlessly, freezing the landscape in a raw, jagged state. The Namarat lava field was forged by ancient eruption, where molten flows tore through the earth before cooling abruptly, leaving behind grotesquely shaped rock formations. The rock surface is so rough and razor-sharp that it can shred the soles of any footwear that treads upon it. These black rocks absorb the sun's heat throughout the day, storing energy and radiating waves of heat straight up into the sky. The air surrounding the rock formations constantly shimmers and distorts, creating the sensation that the very ground is trembling. Amidst the dark fissures, a few parched, gray thorn bushes rise resiliently, standing as unique symbols of survival within this scorched labyrinth of black stone. A towering ridge of jet-black sedimentary rock cuts straight across the desert floor. This limestone formation stretches for over 300 kilometers. This wall of lava originated from flows from Oldoinyo Lengai that coursed through an ancient valley before solidifying over millions of years. Erosion by wind and rain stripped away the surrounding softer earth, leaving behind a volcanic rock formation that rises up to 15 meters above the vegetation below. The ridge's relatively flat top creates a natural corridor for wildlife to traverse. The massive lava formation possesses such intense thermal capacity and magnetic conductivity that it can disrupt aviation radar and cause handheld compasses to spin wildly as one moves along its edge. The evening light casts streaks of burnished bronze across the rock's protruding angles, delineating a rugged and breathtaking geological boundary. The brilliant red of iron oxide ore stains the entire landscape, creating a striking visual impact from the very first frame. The soil here is so parched that it crumbles into a fine, chalk-like dust, clinging tenaciously to every thorny shrub and the bodies of passing animals. The wild elephants of Tsavo possess a truly unique appearance. They use their trunks to spray mineral-rich red earth over their bodies, effectively donning a crimson armor that shields their skin from the scorching sun and insect attacks. Using tusks nearly 3 meters long to pierce the cracked, dried mud or parched riverbeds, these giants can dig more than 2 meters deep to access a source of incredibly pure, geological groundwater. The sight of these blood-red behemoths moving through a hazy veil of red dust paints a picture of brutal survival, where the color of the earth and the color of the creatures merge into one. Amidst a desert that scorches all life, a freshwater oasis suddenly emerges, its waters so crystal clear that every grain of fine sand 5 meters below is visible. This water source gushes forth at a rate of over 200 million liters daily, filtered naturally through the volcanic ash and sedimentary rock of the nearby Kulu Range. The emerald green surface lies as still as glass, reflecting the wild palms and lush cloud forest. This is the private realm of a pod of hippopotamuses, each weighing over 3 tons. Thanks to unique light refraction and the water's absolute clarity, the sight of these hippos moving gracefully along the riverbed creates a fascinating visual effect, making them appear as if they are floating in mid-air, untouched by gravity. The cool water completely dispels the stifling heat above, offering a brilliant, magical sanctuary in the heart of the arid landscape. A vast expanse of white salt and cracked, parched clay stretches to the horizon, completely devoid of vegetation. Shelby was once the bed of a colossal ancient lake that evaporated millennia ago. leaving behind a sprawling mineral basin sculpted by ferocious sandstorms. Desert winds sweep across this flat expanse at tremendous speeds, whipping up clouds of mineral salts into swirling white pillars. Rendell and Gabra caravans lead their camels across the basin, navigating entirely by the constellations in the night sky. Extreme temperature fluctuations transform the basin's surface into a giant lens, constantly conjuring optical illusions of azure lakes and lush greenery that vanish the moment one approaches. The ground is cracked into countless uniform hexagonal fragments, coated in a layer of white lime that glitters under the harsh, glaring light. A solitary, towering limestone monolith stretching over a kilometer in length rises from the red plains, forming a colossal natural basin that collects rainwater. This Inselberg features steep, smooth surfaces that funnel scarce rainfall into a natural pool at its base. Its dark gray granite face is etched with fissures where massive baobab trees take root and thrive. Thirsty creatures from a radius of tens of kilometers converge at the base of this monolith to drink. The rock absorbs solar heat throughout the day. At night, as desert temperatures plummet, the massive formation radiates warmth like a natural heater. Thousands of creatures gather at its foot, seeking the warmth essential for survival. This colossal stone giant has stood firm for millennia, acting as a geological lifeline that sustains life amidst the scorching desert. Our double caldera shield volcano stands majestically in the heart of the Great Rift Valley. Viewed from the valley rim, Soswa reveals a collapsed summit forming a massive basin encircled by sheer sandstone cliffs. The geological structure here is so extraordinary that a ring-shaped rock formation rises from the depths of the main crater. A network of underground caves beneath the volcano was carved by flowing lava thousands of years ago. The cave walls are pitch black, coated in minerals that shimmer in the beam of a flashlight. Troops of baboons choose the deepest recesses of the caves to sleep, safe from predators. Within this dark lava cave system, wisps of sulfurous smoke still escape from hairline fissures. The internal temperature remains a steady 30 deg, creating a natural geothermal sauna deep underground. The Maasai community living at the mountain's base continues to herd their livestock across the expanse of gray volcanic ash. Their lives are inextricably linked to the smoldering, menacing pulse of this active volcano. The shallow, blue-gray alkaline waters lie peacefully amidst rolling limestone hills. Lake Elmentita is the remnant of an ancient, vast hydrological system. Today, it has an average depth of less than 1 meter. The lakebed accumulates highly concentrated mineral salts because the water has no outlet to the sea, evaporating instead under the intense sun. The water's surface is mirror still, perfectly reflecting the bands of white clouds drifting slowly across the highland sky. The thousands of lesser flamingos gather in brilliant, soft pink swathes stretching across the lake. They constantly dip their beaks into the algae-rich mud in search of food. Rapid midday evaporation causes countless snowflake-like mineral salt crystals to form and cling to the flamingos' feathers. As the flock takes flight, millions of salt crystals scatter, creating a magical, shimmering shower of light in midair. Wildlife such as antelopes and zebras frequently descend to the freshwater springs along the shore to drink. The contrast between the lake's toxic alkaline waters and the life-sustaining freshwater fringes creates an ecological balance that is both fragile and resilient. This towering stratovolcano features a colossal crater spanning up to 2 kilometers in diameter. The towering rock walls encircling the rim embrace a dense, deep green primeval forest nestled within the sunken basin. The ascent to the summit involves navigating steep trails blanketed in fine volcanic ash and porous pumice. Winds sweeping across the rim create eerie, howling sounds as they rush through the rocky ravines. The vegetation within the basin has evolved in isolation from the outside world, forming a mysterious, self-contained ecosystem. Herds of kudu and countless birds of prey nest directly upon the crater's sheer cliffs. Geothermal vents scattered across the crater walls continuously spew plumes of white steam. This steam condenses on the forest canopy, creating a natural irrigation system that sustains the entire sunken forest without the need for rainfall. The sight of swirling mists at the summit and the deep green basin below evokes a profound sense of awe at the wondrous creative power of geology. A colossal geological rift tears across the Earth's surface, plunging more than 1,000 meters below the surrounding Tugan Hills. The Kerio Valley appears like an open wound, displaying the reddish-brown hues of clay and the deep green of thorn scrub forests. A sheer granite wall on the western escarpment forms a natural barrier against the misty winds sweeping down from the highland. The Kerio River meanders along the valley floor, carrying fertile silt that sustains the villages of the Pokot and Marakwet peoples. Centuries ago, local inhabitants devised a water conveyance system using split mahogany trunks suspended against the cliff faces. They channel water from the mountain peaks down to arid, terraced fields. Due to the valley's deep, basin-like topography, the air at the bottom becomes compressed, creating a powerful sound amplification effect. A herdsman's shout from one bank can travel over 5 kilometers and echo with startling clarity off the opposite cliff face. This majestic landscape, with its plunging depths and the resilient spirit of its people, offers a breathtaking stopover on any geological expedition. Unlike most of the toxic alkaline lakes in the Rift Valley, Baringo is one of the rare freshwater lakes situated amidst the barren volcanic landscape. The lake's water bears a distinctive reddish-brown hue, colored by the vast amounts of silt washed down from the surrounding hills. Its expansive surface is dotted with small volcanic islets, home to the Njem people who make their living fishing from rudimentary balsa wood rafts. This is the undisputed realm of the African fish eagle and over 400 species of water birds. Beneath the murky waters lurk thousands of Nile crocodiles and large pods of hippopotamuses. Due to the exceptionally high concentration of clay silt, the fish in Lake Baringo have evolved a form of sonar navigation similar to that of dolphins to forage in an environment devoid of light. The setting sun bathes the landscape in a rosy glow, transforming the silt-laden waters into a shimmering sheet of burnished bronze set against the rugged, rocky mountains. A colossal geological rift stretches for thousands of kilometers, cleaving the African continent in two and rising like a natural fortress amidst the clouds. Sheer cliffs, nearly 1,000 meters high, plunge precipitously into the yawning valley below, revealing strata of rock layered over millions of years of tectonic activity. The cliff faces are cloaked in gray, thorny scrub and wild acacia groves that cling tenaciously to the rugged rock. The air is torn by gale-force winds sweeping over the towering ridges, driving thick mists that alternately veil and reveal the vast basin below. Along the floor of this rift, the Earth's crust is so thin that molten magma beneath constantly heats the groundwater, fueling geothermal vents that spew billowing columns of sulfurous steam day and night. Locals have long spoken of lands possessing the dragon's breath, where the scorching earth can cook food in mere minutes. The entire landscape bears the savage beauty of an ancient geological battlefield, where the continent is silently being torn apart by a seething, restless subterranean force. A shimmering alkaline basin lies nestled amidst sheer sandstone cliffs and encircling belts of thorny acacia forest. The lake's surface reflects the harsh sunlight, creating an uncanny turquoise hue caused by the massive proliferation of blue-green algae. Surrounding the shoreline are desolate gray salt flats, where constant evaporation leaves behind stark white alkaline crusts clinging to the earth. Distinctive green-barked acacia trees spread their canopies like giant umbrellas, sheltering various predators that lurk in the shade. Here, the lake's alkalinity is so high that it has historically served as a deadly chemical trap for most forms of life. Yet, this very toxic environment sustains millions of flamingos, transforming the lake shore into a vast ribbon of pink clearly visible from the air. Have you ever seen so many flamingos? It is truly magical, isn't it? As dusk falls, mist descends from the towering mountains to shroud the lake, turning the landscape into a scene reminiscent of a traditional ink-wash painting, at once pristine and menacing. There is a place that is tranquil, yet holds a surging pulse of survival. An ancient volcanic massif towers over 5,000 meters into the clouds, standing like a stone giant right on the equator. A wall of gray granite rises amidst glaciers that are silently melting away. Below lie cloud-filled valleys, sheltering ancient acacia forests and surreal alpine meadows. Within this frigid realm unfolds a fierce and unexpected predatory battleground. Dark-coated leopards, concealed by the thick mist, suddenly lunge out to chase herds of klipspringer across precarious, sheer-faced ledges. Survival here plays out in silence. where a single misstep on the icy rock means plunging hundreds of meters into the abyss. The vegetation undergoes dramatic transformations with the changing altitude, shifting from vast belts of cloud forest to giant lobelias rising like green torches. The landscape possesses a beauty that is cold, majestic, and menacing, embodying the geological power and the brutal pulse of survival characteristic of the East African highlands. Situated on Kenya's southern coast, Guinea is renowned as a stretch of white sand paradise extending for tens of kilometers. It borders the deep blue waters of the Indian Ocean, where the crystal-clear salt water reveals ancient coral reefs on the seabed. Wild coconut palms lean under the constant ocean breeze, while the shoreline undergoes a magical transformation with the rhythm of the tides. Sandbars emerge and then vanish beneath the deep water. Beneath that calm surface lies a fierce hunting ground. Giant black marlin dart through the water at speeds approaching 100 kilometers per hour. They sweep through schools of small fish right alongside jagged coral reefs. High above, a sea eagle dives like an arrow, snatching its prey from the water in a lightning-fast strike. It is a scene of untamed beauty, fraught with danger, a place where the boundary between the vast ocean and the continent is torn apart by stormy waves. Situated right on the Tanzanian border, at the foot of majestic Mount Kilimanjaro, Amboseli is one of Kenya's most arid clay basins. A cracked, parched landscape stretches all the way to the horizon. Clouds of grayish-white alkaline dust rise with every hot gust of wind. Remnant pools of mineral water shimmer under the harsh sun, amidst sparse vegetation and withered thorn bushes. Here, a heart-stopping confrontation unfolds between the land's dominant species. Massive elephant herds traverse the sea of dry dust. Close behind, a pride of lions lies in wait within the dry grass, tracking their movements. A calf lagging behind instantly becomes the target of a ruthless encirclement. The drama reaches a fever pitch amidst the scorching 50-degree heat. The scene possesses a brutal, epic beauty, a place where life and death are separated by a mere step across this barren land. Situated in the Laikipia Plateau of northern Kenya, Olpejeta is renowned as a premier wildlife conservation haven in East Africa. Vast, rolling grasslands stretch all the way to the foothills of Mount Kenya. The landscape is a tapestry of acacia-dotted savanna and winding streams. The ground glows golden in the light of the setting sun. This is the final stronghold of the critically endangered northern white rhinoceros. These multi-ton giants move silently under the close watch of armed guards. All around them, herds of antelope and zebra remain constantly vigilant against the lurking presence of lion prides. A chase erupts as dusk falls, shattering the stillness of the savannah. The scene bears witness to humanity's desperate struggle to protect some of Earth's last remaining creatures. Situated at the highest elevation within the Great Rift Valley system, the freshwater lake Naivasha appears like a jade gem amidst the highlands. The lake is encircled by the sheer, brilliant red sandstone cliffs of Hell's Gate National Park. Plumes of geothermal steam billow from the earth, creating an ethereal, primordial landscape. Lush vegetation surrounds the lake, featuring dense reed beds and ancient cloud forests. Beneath the calm freshwater surface lies the domain of hundreds of ferocious hippopotamuses. They emerge from the water, roaring and vying for territory with thunderous snaps of their jaws. High above, African fish eagles dive with lightning speed, snatching large fish right from under the hippos' noses. This place embodies a perfect harmony between the geothermal energy of the earth and the vibrant life upon the water. Located in the town of Thika, less than a 2-hour drive from Nairobi, 14 Falls is a geological masterpiece within the Athi River system. The site is renowned for its expansive rock formation, which splits the river into 14 distinct cascades, plunging in parallel from a height of over 20 meters. The surging torrents crash into the pool below, sending up clouds of white spray that pierce the air. Lush thickets of thorny trees and the spreading canopies of ancient giants line the riverbanks. Over millions of years, the relentless current has eroded the sandstone, carving out magnificent, deep black fissures. Beneath the churning, mist-filled waters lie the hunting grounds of the river's masters. Nile crocodiles lurk in the murky depths, silently waiting for fish to drift over the rocky rapids. Perched on high branches near the falls, African fish eagles keep a sharp, watchful eye on the water. With a lightning-fast swoop, they tear through the mist, snatching prey in their razor-sharp talons before vanishing back into the air. The scene showcases the raw, dynamic power of East Africa's river systems. Originating from the eternal snows atop Mount Kenya, the Rupingazi River carves through the Embu Highlands, creating a majestic, deep valley. Icy meltwater surges through dark sandstone gorges, sculpted by the elements over millions of years. A succession of small waterfalls cascades onto the pebble-strewn bed, sending up clouds of white spray. The cliffs are cloaked in primeval rainforest, shrouded in morning mist, where ancient trees and giant ferns cling tenaciously to the sheer rock faces. In the damp, shadowy depths of the valley, a sense of lurking danger permeates the air. Green tree snakes slither silently through the moss, lying in wait to ambush tree frogs. Beneath the rushing currents, a pack of spotted-necked otters darts through the water like arrows, coordinating their hunt for catfish among the rocky crevices. A lightning-fast strike in the freezing water brings the perfect hunt to a close. The scene vividly captures the spectacular transition from the highland snows to the lush, verdant life of the Kenyan Valley. This wilderness never existed merely to please the human eye. Here, the Earth's surface tears, shifts, and collapses according to a ruthless yet perfect order. Every creature is compelled to evolve or be devoured, without a shred of solace. This realm operates on the most primal of forces, silently swallowing all traces of time and persisting just as it has for millions of years.